Anyone want a free mansion? Sounds like a dream come true until you realize why no one, and I mean no one, wants these particular homes. We're talking about properties so cursed that real estate agents literally cross the street to avoid them. A Hollywood Hills mansion has been vacant for 8 years, and the asking price keeps dropping. It started at $40 million, then 20, then 5, and then they're literally paying people to take it. But here's the problem. Everyone who tried to buy it backed out within 24 hours. What exactly happens in those first 24 hours that amazes billionaires? Today you'll learn about extraordinary and incredibly luxurious mansions that have been abandoned by major celebrities. Let's go.
Number 13. Britney Spears' Thousand Oaks Sanctuary. Behind the gates of this elegant Italian-style villa, pop music's brightest star tried desperately to escape a spotlight that had become more prison than stage. Britney Spears purchased this $7.2 million Thousand Oaks sanctuary in 2007, during the height of her personal struggles, hoping to find peace in its resort-style pools, private courtyards, and sweeping manicured gardens that promised privacy from the paparazzi's circus surrounding her life. The villa sprawls over 2 levels with marble fireplaces that provided warmth during California's mild winters, a private spa designed for relaxation and healing, and a wine cellar that exuded the kind of pop star opulence fans expected from one of music's biggest names. On paper, everything looked perfect, a retreat designed for recovery, a sanctuary built for solitude, and a home that could shield its famous resident from the brutal glare of media attention that was slowly destroying her mental health. But in reality, the mansion became a reflection of everything unraveling in Spears' life as her conservatorship battles made global headlines throughout 2008 and beyond. The home grew unnaturally quiet as legal proceedings consumed her energy and freedom, while the once vibrant gardens became overgrown metaphors for a life spinning out of control. Grass overtook the carefully manicured paths, wallpaper began peeling from once elegant halls, and the glamour that had initially attracted the pop princess faded as quickly as her public image was being systematically destroyed. By 2019, Spears listed the property for $8.9 million, but potential buyers seemed scared away by the association with such publicized personal turmoil, as if the house itself had absorbed the trauma of those difficult years and couldn't shake free from the headlines that had made it famous for all the wrong reasons.
Number 12. Justin Bieber's Calabasas Party Mansion. Back in 2012, teenage superstar Justin Bieber thought he could handle anything. Then he bought this $6.5 million Calabasas mansion and turned it into ground zero for the wildest parties in Hollywood. The 9,400 square foot Mediterranean estate features 6 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, but those numbers don't tell the real story. What really mattered was the massive backyard built for chaos, a resort-style pool perfect for late-night gatherings, outdoor kitchens that fed hundreds of party guests, and enough space for the kind of teenage rebellion that makes headlines worldwide. Bieber threw legendary bashes here, the kind where neighbors called cops and TMZ cameras showed up like clockwork. Egg-throwing incidents made national news. Noise complaints piled up faster than his platinum records. The house became a symbol of young fame gone wrong, every room echoing with the sound of a career spiraling out of control. By 2014, legal troubles forced a quick sale. The new owners got a bargain at $7.2 million, but they also inherited a reputation that stuck to the property like glue. Real estate agents still whisper about the Bieber house when showing properties in the neighborhood. Potential buyers worry about lingering damage from years of abuse. The pool that once hosted Instagram-famous parties now reflects empty skies. Security cameras that recorded countless incidents remain mounted like silent witnesses. The mansion stands as proof that some houses absorb the energy of their most famous residents, and not always in a good way.
I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day. But to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel. So leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go!
Number 11. Cher's unwanted Malibu masterpiece. Perched above the Pacific Ocean like a Mediterranean dream, Cher's self-designed mansion should have been the crown jewel of Malibu real estate. Instead, it became a 13,000-square-foot monument to how personal taste doesn't always translate to market appeal. Built in 1990, this 16-suite estate channels the singer's love of old-world architecture with stone courtyards, sweeping ocean views, and Roman arches that wouldn't look out of place in an Italian villa. Cher designed every detail herself, from the meditation room that could silence the chaos of celebrity life to the kitchen that's bigger than most people's entire homes, creating a personal sanctuary that reflected her eclectic tastes and larger-than-life personality. The mansion screams luxury from every surface, with touches of royalty woven throughout its design. But therein lies the problem. It's too specific, too personal, too much Cher for anyone else to call home. When she listed it in 2010 for $75 million, the market responded with deafening silence, as if buyers were intimidated by the sheer force of personality embedded in every arch and courtyard. By 2023, the price had plummeted to $45 million, a staggering markdown that still wasn't enough to attract serious interest. The issue isn't quality, every surface is crafted to perfection, but rather timing and taste, as modern Malibu buyers gravitate toward glass boxes and minimalist designs that showcase the ocean rather than compete with it. The home's gym collects dust, while its elaborate gardens bloom for an audience of none, and the rooftop terrace that once hosted Hollywood's elite now watches over an empty driveway. Cher's coastal crown sits waiting, a testament to how even legends can create something too magnificent for the world to appreciate, too personal for anyone else to inhabit, and too expensive for most to maintain. Number 10. Mike Tyson's decaying Ohio Kingdom. Once the ultimate symbol of boxing supremacy, Mike Tyson's 25,000-square-foot Ohio mansion now crumbles in silent defeat. Built in 1979 on 58 sprawling acres in Southington, this 5-bedroom, 7-bathroom estate was designed to match Iron Mike's larger-than-life personality. The property features a 10,000-square-foot indoor pool room with crystal chandeliers hanging over zebra print carpets, creating an atmosphere of pure excess. 3 Bengal tiger cages once housed Tyson's exotic pets, while a full basketball court allowed the champion to train in private. During his peak in the late 80s, this wasn't just a home, it was a fortress of power where the world's most feared fighter could retreat from the spotlight. But fortune has a way of turning, and by 1999, bankruptcy forced Tyson to abandon his kingdom. The mansion became a time capsule of decay, with moldy arcade machines, stained marble surfaces, and a dance floor that hasn't seen life in decades. Urban explorers who breached the gates in the 2000s found exercise equipment rusting in place and walls covered in graffiti. In 2010, a church briefly occupied the space, attempting to cleanse the property's troubled energy through prayer and renovation. But even spiritual intervention couldn't overcome the crushing maintenance costs that reach astronomical figures annually. The mansion stands today as a monument to how quickly glory can fade, its empty rooms echoing with memories of a champion who once ruled the world, but couldn't conquer his own financial demons.
Number 9. Bruce Lee's demolished Hong Kong sanctuary. What happens when a legend's final home becomes so unwanted that the only solution is complete erasure? Bruce Lee's Hong Kong townhouse faced exactly that fate, transformed from shrine to rubble in a story that breaks the hearts of martial arts fans worldwide. This 5,700 square foot, 2-story Kowloon residence from the 1970s offered 4 bedrooms designed in minimalist Chinese style, perfectly reflecting Lee's philosophy of elegant simplicity. The home featured a rooftop training area where the martial arts icon practiced his revolutionary techniques, preserved mosaic details that captured his artistic spirit, and an atmosphere of focused energy that seemed to pulse through every room.
Lee lived here during his final years in the early 70s, raising his children, training in secret, and writing the philosophy that would influence generations of martial artists. But after his sudden death in 1973, the house became something more complex than a simple residence. It transformed into a pilgrimage site, a mystery, and a piece of martial arts history frozen in time. Fans arrived in droves, hoping to convert it into a museum celebrating Lee's legacy, but bureaucratic red tape and real estate politics created an impossible maze of legal obstacles. The house was abandoned to neglect, its paint fading under Hong Kong's humid climate, windows cracking from years of exposure, and the roof sagging under the weight of broken promises and deferred dreams. Developers circled like vultures, seeing only dollar signs where fans saw sacred ground, and preservation efforts crumbled under the pressure of commercial interests. In 2019, the inevitable happened. The house was demolished, erased from existence as if it had never sheltered one of the world's greatest martial artists, its empty lot untouched by superstitious fear.
Number 8. Michael Jackson's Silent Neverland Ranch. Behind the gates of what was once the world's most famous private playground lies 2,700 acres of broken dreams and faded magic. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch wasn't just a home, it was a fantasy brought to life, complete with amusement rides, exotic animals, and childlike wonder around every corner. The 12,598 square foot Tudor-style mansion, built in 1988, houses 6 bedrooms and 9 bathrooms within its walls, but the real attractions lay beyond the main residence. 2 railways wound through the property, carrying guests past a petting zoo filled with llamas, elephants, and other exotic creatures. A Ferris wheel, carousel, and bumper cars turned the estate into a private Disneyland where the king of the pop could recapture the childhood he never had. But everything changed in 2005, when legal troubles cast a dark shadow over the property's innocent facade. The amusement rides were dismantled piece by piece, the zoo animals were relocated, and the laughter that once filled the air was replaced by an eerie silence. Jackson himself rarely returned to Neverland after the media circus, saying the property had been contaminated by the accusations and investigations. When the ranch hit the market in 2015 for $100 million, it attracted more curious seekers than serious buyers. The price reflected not just the property's size and amenities, but also its unique history and the emotional weight it carries. Billionaire Ron Burkle eventually purchased it in 2020 for a significantly reduced price. But even with new ownership, the ranch feels heavy with the ghost of its troubled past, as if the very land remembers the rise and fall of the man who once danced across its stages. Number 7. Nicolas Cage's haunted LaLaurie Mansion. Deep in New Orleans' French Quarter stands a mansion so cursed that even Hollywood's most eccentric actor couldn't handle its dark energy. Nicolas Cage purchased the infamous LaLaurie Mansion in 2007 for $3.4 million, drawn to its macabre history like a moth to flame. This 10,284 square foot estate, built in the 1830s, carries the blood-soaked legacy of Madame Delphine LaLaurie, America's first documented female serial killer. The 3-story main house features 6 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, with red and purple interiors that seem to echo the violence that once occurred within these walls. LaLaurie tortured enslaved people in the attic, chaining them to walls and conducting horrific experiments. When neighbors discovered the Chamber of Horrors in 1834, they found mutilated bodies and victims barely clinging to life. Cage, known for his love of the bizarre, thought he could tame this property's supernatural reputation. But like every owner before him, he lasted only 2 years before financial ruin forced him to sell. Cold spots plague the hallways, lights flicker without explanation, and phantom footsteps echo through empty rooms. Urban legends claim that screams still pierce the night air, keeping potential buyers far away. The mansion sits abandoned today, its windows like dead eyes watching over the bustling French Quarter, a reminder that some houses are too haunted to ever become homes again.
Number 6. Burt Reynolds' Forgotten Florida Empire. Sprawling across 153 acres in Jupiter, Florida, Valhalla was supposed to be Burt Reynolds' lasting legacy, a southern gentleman's paradise where Hollywood royalty could escape the spotlight. Instead, it became a crumbling monument to financial ruin and faded stardom. The 12,000-square-foot ranch house features 4 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, designed in rustic southern style that perfectly captured Reynolds' good old boy charm. The property included a private chapel where the actor could find solace, a horse track for his beloved equestrian pursuits, and pastures once alive with wild deer that roamed freely across the grounds. A working movie studio allowed Reynolds to continue his craft at home, while an 18-crypt mausoleum prepared for a dynasty that would never come to pass. During the 80s and early 90s, Valhalla was the epicenter of Hollywood's southern invasion, with stars like Dom DeLuise showing up for legendary barbecues that lasted until dawn. The ranch represented everything Reynolds loved about his adopted home state: wide open spaces, southern hospitality, and freedom from the constraints of Tinseltown. But as his film career declined and financial troubles mounted, the dream began to crumble. By the mid-90s, Reynolds was drowning in debt, unable to maintain the massive property that had once been his pride and joy. The fields grew unkempt, the buildings developed cracks, and the charm that had once attracted Hollywood's elite began to fade like an old Polaroid. When buyers toured the property, they were overwhelmed by the maintenance nightmare that came with owning such a massive estate. The ranch finally sold in 2015 for just $3.7 million, a fraction of its peak value, leaving behind only memories of what might have been.
Number 5. Boris Becker's scandal-soaked Mallorca retreat. From tennis courts to courtroom scandals, Boris Becker's 10,000-square-foot Mallorca estate tells the story of glory transformed into a legal nightmare. The German tennis legend purchased this Mediterranean paradise in 1997 for $3 million, creating a champion's escape complete with 5 luxury bedrooms designed in traditional Spanish style, lush gardens that cascade down toward panoramic ocean views, and a private pool that glowed like a sapphire under the Balearic sun. For years, it served as Becker's trophy off the court, a place where he could celebrate victories and escape the pressure of professional sports while surrounded by the natural beauty of Spain's most exclusive island. The villa represented everything success could buy: privacy, luxury, and a connection to one of Europe's most desirable destinations. But by 2018, the dream began crumbling under the weight of legal troubles that would make international headlines. Illegal renovation fines nearly reaching $10 million hit like a devastating final serve, as Spanish authorities discovered that extensive modifications had been made without proper permits, transforming routine maintenance into a bureaucratic nightmare. Then came the bankruptcy proceedings that exposed the full extent of Becker's financial troubles, turning the Mallorca retreat from asset to liability overnight. The villa began showing signs of neglect as legal battles consumed time and resources that should have been spent on upkeep. Weeds strangled the once manicured grounds, plaster developed cracks under years of deferred maintenance, and the whole property took on an air of abandonment that seemed to reflect its owner's fallen status. Listed in 2020 for $5 million, the estate still awaits a buyer brave enough to inherit both its Mediterranean beauty and its complicated legal history, serving as a reminder that even the most perfect retreats can become prisons when scandal comes knocking.
Number 4. Aleister Crowley's Cursed Scottish Manor. On the mysterious shores of Loch Ness sits Boleskine House, a 4,000-square-foot Scottish manor that has terrified potential buyers for over a century. Built in the 1760s, this 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom Georgian stone estate would be merely historic if not for its most infamous resident, Aleister Crowley, the self-proclaimed wickedest man in the world.
The property spans 13 acres of Scottish Highlands, with a library perfect for occult studies and rumored cemetery tunnels that Crowley used for his darkest rituals. In the early 1900s, the notorious occultist purchased Boleskine to conduct ceremonies designed to summon spirits and commune with supernatural forces. Locals swore they saw strange figures moving behind the windows long after midnight, while unexplained lights danced through the surrounding woods. The house's reputation only grew darker after Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page, fascinated by Crowley's legacy, bought the property in the 1970s, hoping to capture its mystical energy for his music. Even rock royalty couldn't tame the manor's malevolent reputation, and Page eventually sold it, unable to shake the feeling that something sinister lurked within its walls. The house has suffered through multiple fires, most notably devastating blazes in 2015 and 2019 that left it a blackened shell of its former self. Despite restoration efforts, no buyer has been brave enough to call Boleskine home, deterred by tales of demonic invocations, mysterious accidents, and an oppressive atmosphere that seems to drain the life from anyone who stays too long. The manor sits today as a burnt offering to forces that perhaps should have been left
Number 3. Lil Wayne's cursed Miami palace. When Lil Wayne dropped $11.6 million on this Miami Beach estate in 2012, he thought he was buying paradise. Instead, he inherited a nightmare that no amount of money could wake him from. This 15,000 square foot waterfront palace features 7 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms wrapped in sleek, modern design that screams rap royalty from every surface. The bayfront infinity pool seems to melt into Biscayne Bay, while a private theater provided the perfect venue for exclusive screenings and intimate gatherings. A glass-walled gym allowed the rapper to maintain his physique while enjoying panoramic water views, and the 3,000-square-foot rooftop skate park turned the mansion into a playground worthy of hip-hop's elite. For a few golden years, the estate pulsed with parties, music, and the energy of success. But then, the legal troubles began mounting like storm clouds on the horizon. Contract disputes, financial battles, and personal drama transformed the palace from sanctuary to liability, and Wayne found himself needing to liquidate assets quickly. He listed the home in 2018 for $29.5 million, confident that Miami's red-hot luxury market would deliver a quick sale. But reality proved far more challenging than expected. The mansion's $1.7 million annual upkeep costs scared away even wealthy buyers, who calculated that owning the property would cost more than most people's entire annual income just in maintenance fees. The rooftop skate park, once a unique selling point, became a liability as buyers worried about structural integrity and insurance coverage for such an unusual feature. Years have passed since the listing, and the waterfront gem continues to sit unwanted, its infinity pool reflecting only empty skies and the harsh reality that not even rap royalty can guarantee a property's desirability in an increasingly selective luxury market.
Number 2. Charlie Sheen's Mulholland Drive disaster. 2.5 Men money couldn't save Charlie Sheen's Mulholland Drive mansion from becoming a real estate disaster that's been winning at staying unsold for years. The $7.2 million estate sits on one of Los Angeles' most prestigious streets, featuring 6 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms across 9,000 square feet of custom-designed luxury that should have been irresistible to Hollywood's elite. The property includes a resort-style pool complex, a home theater built for private screenings, and panoramic city views that stretch from downtown to the Pacific Ocean. Sheen bought this place at the height of his television success, when his CBS sitcom was generating massive paychecks and his public image, while controversial, still translated to serious earning power. The mansion became headquarters for a lifestyle that pushed every boundary of excess, where parties lasted for days, and the definition of normal was constantly being rewritten by someone who seemed determined to prove that rules were meant to be broken. But winning isn't sustainable when your definition of success includes public meltdowns, career suicide, and behavior that makes insurance companies refuse to write policies. By 2011, Sheen's very public breakdown had made him more famous for his personal chaos than his professional achievements. And his Mulholland mansion became evidence exhibit A in a case study of how quickly Hollywood success can turn toxic. The house hit the market during his most publicized struggles, when tiger blood and winning had become national punchlines rather than signs of confidence and success. Potential buyers toured rooms that had witnessed some of entertainment industry's most spectacular self-destruction, where walls seemed to echo with the sound of a career imploding in real time and where every surface carried memories of excess.
Number 1. Lindsay Lohan's Malibu Beach House. Picture this: prime Malibu beachfront, panoramic ocean views, and a price tag that dropped faster than Lindsay Lohan's Hollywood career. This $7.4 million beach house should have been every celebrity's dream retreat. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about how quickly paradise can turn into a nightmare. The 3,100 square foot contemporary home sits directly on Carbon Beach, featuring 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms with floor-to-ceiling windows that frame the Pacific like living artwork. A private deck stretches over the sand, perfect for sunset dinners and morning yoga sessions. The open concept design screams California cool, with clean lines and neutral tones that should appeal to any luxury buyer. But here's where things get messy. Lohan's legal battles made this place more famous for court documents than ocean views. Paparazzi turned the private beach into a public circus. Property damage from wild parties left scars that fresh paint couldn't hide. The actress listed it in 2012, desperate to escape mounting debts and legal fees. Buyers came and went, scared off by the property's tabloid history. The house sat empty for months at a time, salt air and neglect taking their toll on what should have been pristine luxury. By 2020, the price had been slashed multiple times, but the stigma remained. Even Malibu's red-hot market couldn't overcome the association with scandal. The beach house finally sold, but at a massive loss that proved even oceanfront perfection can't overcome a toxic reputation.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.